So Dennis, everybody loves this Infeed table.
It's good to be loved, man.
You hit me.
Oh, excuse me. I'm too close.
So Dennis, everybody loves your Infeed table.
Well, it's good to be loved. Good to be loved. Good to be loved. And it was a popular project, and we did have quite a bit of good response.
We did.
And we did get three emails that we thought we'd share with you on. They were asking about how to adapt it to a saw other than the saw stop. So we kind of put our heads together, and actually Kim did. He came up with it. He's the thinker. You know how I've always said, I am not the thinker. I'm not so much of a thinker. So anyway, we came together with some ideas that maybe for other saws. So you want to walk us through some of those?
So what was the first question?
Oh, okay. Try it again.
work with me here.
Okay, I got it now. I got it.
So what was the first question?
How to mount it to a Delta contractor saw.
Oh.
Had round steel tubes.
I got the solution right here. The XPad. What do you think?
I think that's cool.
Do you know what it is?
I did not know until you discovered it and shared it with me.
Oh, okay. These things are made by Microjig. They work with the Microjig dovetail clamps, and they basically, it's a pad that just slides on the end of the clamp, and it adapts the clamp to irregular shapes. So if you look closer, there's two grooves. One groove has two 45-degree angles, which creates a 90-degree angle. And then the other groove is kind of set up more for like corners and stuff like that.
Okay.
So this first 45, I've got a dowel as a sample here, just fits on a round surface like that and allows you to use those clamps on round surfaces. So in the case of the contractor saw, that clamp on the bottom will mount right to that round rail.
Very good. Looks like just a solution, doesn't it?
Pretty slick.
Looks like it.
So, but there's more to it.
There always is.
There always is. So we did a little drawing to kind of illustrate this. We've got our dovetail clamp, just like we had in the original Infeed table.
Okay.
But then we've got our XPad mounted to the clamp, and that way we can mount to that round rail. And then we have the Infeed table, and of course I think you could still put your magnets in there, just like we did.
Right, steel tubing.
Yeah, but you do need a little bit of support because that round rail is not going to support it like this rectangular rail did.
Oh, exactly. Mm-hmm.
So what I'm thinking is that we can just add a leg underneath.
And a great idea that is. Looks like you've added a hinge also and adjustable feet to it.
Yeah, I was thinking, you know, from a storage standpoint, it might be nice if you had, like, if the leg's a 1x3 or something like that. Put a hinge on it, that way it can hinge, that way it folds out of the way for storage.
Yep.
The other thing I think would be important is to put an adjustable foot on the bottom, because you need to be able to get this level with the tabletop.
Sure.
So
the only thing I'm thinking here is that leg has potential to be kicked.
Yeah.
But I know you came up with another solution potentially for that.
Yep. So there's another idea
walk us
here.
Through that.
So in this sketch, this is basically the same thing that we saw in the first one, but instead of that leg being straight up and down, we've got it angled in towards the saw.
Right.
And that way you've got plenty of foot room. You're not going to accidentally kick that leg over.
Right.
Shouldn't be a problem that way.
Right. That looks good. I would tend to lean toward this, I believe.
Yeah, and as far as mounting it, you're going to need something for that leg to butt up into. It's going to be a shorter leg to start with.
Right.
So I think you could just go on ahead and take like a 1x2 cleat, and just if you have a cabinet saw, just mount that through, bolt it to the front, and that'll support that leg pretty well. Cool. Now, if you did have a different style base, let's say the ones with the the stamped steel bases like you would see on a Delta contractor saw, something like that. Those are just made out of stamped steel, and of course they have reinforcement braces all the way around, so you could just through bolt it to one of those braces.
Right.
That should hold
Easy enough to do.
Yep. Here again, you'd probably want to put some adjustable foot on the bottom where you can angle that infeed table up
sure.
and down a little bit to get it aligned.
So what do you have in mind if I don't have a contractor saw with round tubing?
Well, that's an interesting question because we did have a reader write in and asked us about that. And he actually came up with his own solution though. So his fence was like an aluminum extruded fence. So it was kind of shaped irregular. So what he did was he just built up little pieces of wood and stuff to kind of mimic the shape of the top of that. And then the bottom of his fence was flat, so he was able just to use the 2 clamps. But by shaping something underneath the table to support it, it kind of locked it in place then. Now, of course, the one thing with his aluminum fence is that the magnets aren't going to work.
Right.
So don't go ordering magnets if you have a aluminum fence. So that because it won't work.
We appreciate it.
But another situation, you know, one of the more common contractor saws out there today, like the ones made by Rigid, for example.
Right.
They also have a fence that's extruded aluminum, but that fence has a little notch, basically a little channel in the top, and it's perfect to maybe add a cleat to the bottom of the infeed table, and that way that would actually lock it down in place.
Sure.
Here again, though, you'd have to test it out, make sure you have enough support, make sure that that's rigid right there.
May or may not need that leg on it.
Yeah, you may need a leg on it. So, but all those solutions should work and should be able to fix you up for, you know, mounting this kind of infeed table to basically any kind of saw.
Right. So I hope that helps you a little bit on if you're thinking about this infeed table and you don't have a saw stop. Maybe this has given you some ideas on how to configure one to suit your own needs.
We had one other question though. Did you forget about that guy? He forgot about that guy.
I don't know.
So you know what he asked? He wanted to know, why did Dennis make the infeed table 12 inches wide? So Dennis, why did you make it 12 inches wide?
I made it 12 inches wide because 12 inches is a foot.
And that's easy math for you?
Yeah. No, I thought 12 inches seemed like a good width as far as when I'm breaking down lumber and stuff. And what I found was, as I was doing some of this work, is that I thought, well, maybe 15 inches might be better. But as I started to use this one, I realized that I'm 5'8", sorta, and
5'7".
once you 12 inches is about the max that I'm comfortable with feeding through and pushing through and stuff. So
yeah, because really the wider this is, the further you got to reach to push stuff past the blade then.
Yep, and I wasn't comfortable any more than this right here. So
right. So probably 10 to 12 inches is
10 to 12
is
inches is probably a good idea.
Okay. All right. All right, well, thanks for sharing those ideas, and we hope this helps you adapt this idea to your table saw that you have at home, and before you know it, you'll be having great support for ripping and cross-cutting and everything that you need to do on your table saw.
Yep, and if you do come up with other solutions, just shoot us an email with a photo or something. We're always happy to see what others are doing. So.
Yep, we'd always love to hear from you guys. Thanks for watching.
TheWoodsmithStore.com.
TheWoodsmithStore.com.
You got to get that in there.
You just did.